What's going on, Fireflies? It's me, Neon MUA, and I'm here to present you with some greatness. Okay, so in case you've been living under a rock, which I do because antisocial, ABH has been coming out with a lot of stuff. And I mean a lot, I mean nearly half a face worth of products. So today's video is going to mainly be about the new ABH foundation and loose setting powders, but you know, there's a lot of other stuff that ABH has been coming out with as well, such as their new liner and their new loose highlighters, and of course Jackie's palette, which you should watch my video on. I figured why not just take today's video as a way to just do a bunch of product promotion and let you guys know that you own all these products, because Sephora just started a sale, so you kind of want to know what the products do anyway. But yeah, we're going to talk about that. Also, there's some stuff I had to discuss about this launch. Some stuff that might trigger some people, but why not be truthful? Alright, you guys, before this video begins, if at any point you are enjoying yourself and enjoying me and the content I'm creating, then go ahead and give this video a huge thumbs up, like, and support. It means so much. Also, if you want to continue seeing my face on your YouTube feed, then go ahead and subscribe to my channel, hit that notification bell so that you don't miss the next time I upload. And without further ado, we're going to get into this video of like a summer ABH product launch and full face and it's live. So let's go. So, like I said, Norvina has been going into overdrive lately, and there's a lot going on. I thought that before there was a lot going on with the spring launch, but summer has been just as busy apparently. So we're going to talk about a lot of stuff here, because there's a lot of products here, and I'll try to make this as quick as possible, but you guys know I like to be informative, so if my video is long, I'm sorry. The first thing we're going to talk about, which is the most, probably the most anticipated of all of this, so the most talked about thing in this whole bunch of launches, if you will, is the new ABH foundation, which has recently launched in yeah. This is the foundations that I received in PR, and there's a lot of talk about these foundations, a lot of talk about the foundation themselves and other things. I will be discussing all of that, so there's no need to fret. I'm giving you guys everything because that's who I am. This is the new ABH Luminous Foundation. It is a medium coverage liquid foundation with a luminous finish. It comes in 50 shades. According to the website, it is a water-resistant liquid foundation that creates a luminous natural feel. The radiant formula delivers long wear, medium coverage, yet still feels weightless and looks ultra fresh. This is the coverage you've been waiting for. It looks so good on its own. There's no need to set it with powder. Available in 50 completely natural shades, this lightweight foundation blurs any imperfection, including discoloration and unevenness, without caking and masking the skin's natural radiance. With a seamless application, this easy-to-blend face makeup leaves the skin with a perfected-looking complexion that is free of flashback or oxidation. Cool. So you heard that. This foundation claims to be a radiant, medium coverage, does not oxidize, does not cause flashback, and does not require to be set. For reference, I am 360 in Maybelline, 430 in Fenty. I have oily combination skin. I have some discoloration, and yeah, I'm a sweat box. So luminous foundations aren't necessarily the most they're a bit intimidating, if you will. I tend to reach for matte foundations. However, I'm trying to like branch out and try new things, so we're gonna see. Like I said, this foundation comes in 50 shades. I received 5 of those 50 shades, and we're going to swatch test and see which shades actually work on me. Fingers crossed that one matches. Starting with the shade 510W. And there she is. Should I zoom in? This makes sense. I want to zoom in on this part so you guys can see. So right here, I've already swatched the shade 510W. The next shade I have is 520W, which is also a warm shade. And that's a little bit lighter. Okay, I will say it feels very bouncy and gel-like upon swatching. Next up, we have the shade 530N. Next shade we have is 540W. That's extremely red. Really red. And then the last shade is 560W. Okay, so here are all the shades swatched. I don't know how. Chill out. Here's the thing. Hi, I'm Neon anyway. I have a beard. Some of y'all don't like it because you expect people who wear makeup to have smooth faces. Don't care, because I wear a beard and I will until I decide not to. Here's the thing. Because of my beard, I don't necessarily focus too much on matching with my chest because there's obviously going to be a gap between the way my neck and chest looks and the way my face looks. However, I can tell you that my chest tends to be more yellow as opposed to my face, which is a bit more neutral. So the foundations I tend to go for tend to be more on the warm to neutral range, if you will. Looking at these foundations, these three ain't it. That's just the honest truth. I could manipulate maybe, if anything, this third one or the one in the middle, which was 540W, I could freak out and use if I needed to. But because these foundations claim to not oxidize, I'm slightly nervous about that. The last shade is way too pink, and as well as, so 560 and 530 are not it because they are too pink and neutral. Well, not even neutral, way too pink. This is no. On this side, I could get away with either one of these. I feel like this shade, which is the first one I swatched, which is 510W, could be my summer shade, if you will. And then this shade here, which is 520, is my winter shade. But honestly, I could use either one of these. So I'm probably going to switch between those two. I'm going to use the shade 510, which is the first shade I swatched. That seems to be the shade that works best for me. Like I said, that feels like a summer shade for me, as opposed to 520, which is more of a winter shade in my opinion. But both of those are beautiful. Both of those have the right undertone for my complexion. So we're going to take a look at those. So ultimately, I'm going to start with the shade 510W, which is the first shade I swatched, which is a little bit on the darker side. 520 could work. Like I said, that 520 feels more like a winter shade for me. So we're going to do 510. This foundation is a luminous foundation. So I'm going to try to stick with more of a luminous primer. So I'm going to, before I apply foundation, I need to like moisturize and stuff, if you will. I'm actually going to be using a new product. This is the tonez&re-c Dewdrop Moisturizer. This is a indie natural derivative plant-based sort of situation brand here, and I've been trying their products for the past few weeks. Love them. Really good for those of you who have like sensitive skin or like going through a lot of like chemical related situations, like skin pills, things of that nature. This brand is really good for that because it is natural based, derivative based, if you will. Currently the website is down because they're doing a whole lot of maintenance and stuff like that. However, when the website does come up, there's going to be a huge sale, so you guys definitely go ahead and follow them on Instagram and Twitter. I will drop the links for them in the description box below. And like I said, definitely follow them. Keep your eyes open on that. Turn notifications on, and then when they do launch, you can get this, because this is the highly popular product. This is the Dewdrop Moisturizer, which is, like I said, plant-based products here. And think about this. This works really good if your skin is wet. It works fine if your skin is dry, but it works really good if your skin is wet. So first I want to just like mist my face. And then just go in with a few drops. Alright, so because this foundation is more of a luminous foundation base type foundation, I'm going to start with more of a luminous base type primer. I'm going to be using the Milk Hydro Grip Primer. One of the reasons why I'm using this is because try not to watch reviews, but a lot of people have been saying this foundation, well, not a lot of people, I have heard some people say that this foundation breaks up on them. So interested to see how that works. So just as like insurance policy, if you will, I'm using Hydro Grip because I feel like Hydro Grip is one of the best primers to use in terms of like keeping the foundation from breaking up. And the fact that it's a Hydro Grip primer makes it even better for this kind of foundation. So we shall see. And like I said, I'm going to be using the shade 510. ABH also sent over one of their foundation brushes. This is the A30. So I'm assuming this kind of brush will be best for applying this foundation. I can tell that this is definitely a medium coverage foundation. Looking at the way the foundation looks on my skin now, it is definitely radiant. It's definitely very glowy. This color I wouldn't necessarily consider a warm. I consider this more of a neutral, if anything. So there's that. I do like the finish of the foundation. It gives me very much the same vibes of L'Oreal Fresh Wear. Like very gel, like it has a thicker consistency. It lays on my skin in an interesting way. So I'm just gonna go over it with a beauty sponge. Yeah, after I went over it with a sponge, it does look a little bit better. Final thoughts on the foundation so far. Foundation is cute. I'm not like I said, I'm not a luminous type of foundation wearer. I'm more of a satin matte type of person when it comes to foundations. This is cute. Like I said, it gives me the same vibes that L'Oreal Fresh Wear foundation gives. Very gel-like, moussey almost. It seems to be a cute foundation. We'll see once, you know, a little bit later on how it holds up. But yeah, I'm going to apply concealer. I'm using L'Oreal Full Wear Concealer. I'm going to just apply that just to see if there's any change to the way it reacts or what have you. So I've blended out the concealer and everything. Everything still looks kind of fresh. I noticed a slight bit of breakage around my nose in this area. The areas where I tend to like sweat and stuff the most. So I don't know if I wouldn't consider that a problem with the foundation, maybe. I don't know. Interesting, to say the least. Of course, I'm going to set all of this with a dewy setting spray before I move on. Alright, moving on to the next product that came from this launch, we have the ABH Loose Setting Powders. These are 5 lightweight loose powders for setting makeup in place. Absorbs oil, minimal shine, and leaves you with a flawless matte finish. Available in 4 natural tones and 1 universal translucent powder shade. So I can't do anything with this white. This says it's a universal. This is a powder that I'll be using to set my brows for. We got vanilla, which is another shade which I don't see myself using on myself, but you know, working makeup artist, I'll use it for someone else. But banana. This powder is the color is very similar to that of like the Black Radiance banana powder that I use. So that's what I'm going to use that for. I also have Deep Peach, which is very similar to Fenty's Cashew that I use. And then we have Golden Orange, which is the deepest shade, very orange. Reminds me a lot of Black Opal's Loose Setting Powder that I use. So that gives you a summation of everything. I'm gonna start with the banana powder. And we're going to apply that under the eye so I can not, you know, look like a fool. The consistency of this powder reminds me a lot of Wet n Wild's Loose Setting Powder. It's a bit more firm, if you will, like it sticks together a bit more in the component. But the color and finish reminds me a lot of Black Radiance Loose Setting Powder, and that is banana, so it's yellow, but it's also a lighter shade. So I'm going to go in with the deep peach shade next. And I'm going to use that to kind of set the rest of my face and see how that looks. So if anything, I can see myself bouncing back and forth between banana and golden peach. It flatters my skin from what I can see. I don't have any problems with it, so this might be my shade. It's hot. Take this hat off. Snatch my wig. Here's my synopsis. Banana and golden peach are these are my go-to shades right here. I can tell that I'm going to get a lot of good use out of these two shades. I feel like with golden orange, this will be a shade that I'll probably use like under my prime or under my foundation to set my nose and stuff. I could also see myself using this when I'm setting my brows. So what I tend to do, or something that I could do, is I could use the translucent shade to like set each layer, and then I could go in with golden orange and use that to help color correct the top layer, because my brows are black, so they give a blue hue. Color correct blue and orange. So orange color corrected, then top it with an orange. Long story short, I feel like this is going to be good for color correcting for anyone on a deeper complexion. If you use an orange color corrector, you can set it with an orange powder. So I feel like this is what this could be used for. But in terms of like just setting my face in general, I don't see this being that type of girl. My nose is breaking apart. So yeah, I'm noticing now my nose is breaking apart. I do sweat a lot. And so this isn't uncommon. However, I noticed that it didn't really hold up from jump. And at least with some foundations it'll hold up, so I'm not faulting the foundation itself. Ooh, wait, okay. I'm gonna see if I can kind of save this situation. So I'm gonna be back, my brows are gonna be on, and we're gonna get into like the rest of the stuff here. So here. Okay, so after this is what happened, you guys. So after I stopped filming, things were looking very bad. My foundation was breaking up on my forehead. All the foundation on my nose was gone. And so I had to reapply it. And this time I set my primer beforehand. It helped a little, but my nose still kind of broke up. Like this area right here looks gross. It's breaking up on my forehead as well. I have strong feelings against this foundation. And we'll talk about it later, but as of now. Alright, so we're going to get into the eyes. I'm going to be using Jackie's palette. I've already done a full review and first impressions of Jackie's palette, which you can check hopefully in the bubble above and in the description below. The first time I used the palette, I played more with the more like neutral brown, green, metallic shades, if you will. Today I'm going to play more on the purplish side. So I want to get like a full range of the palette. So to start, I want to take the shade Pinker, which is the mauvey pink, and I'm going to apply that in the crease. I'm going to go up into the brow bone and take the shade Supreme, use that as a transition, and blend Pinker up. Next, we're going to go into the shade Big Wig, which is the matte purple, and I want to apply that in the outer third of the eye. And going into this, I will say the purple is a little difficult to work with, but purples tend to be difficult to work with in general. Purples are hard to make. And so the difficulty that I'm having with it is something that I'm expecting, if you will. So I'm not mad at it. It does, once it gets to full opacity, looks really good. So, alright, I'm going to carve out part of my lid. Okay, so the lid is carved out. We're going to go into the shade Lituation, which is that taupe metallic, and I'm going to apply that over that lid space. Then I'm going to go in with Trust Issues, which is y'all's favorite shade, and apply that in the inner corner. Alright, for the bottom lash line, I'm going to start with the shade Shookington, which is that purple metallic, which is my perfect shade. And I'm gonna run that on the bottom lash line. All right, and then I'm just gonna take pinker and run that on the bottom lash line. The purples in this palette are really nice. They blend out pretty good. I did think that the purple was going to be a bit more intense, but I'm not mad at it. It is a purple. It's a true purple, and me like it. So there's the eye work. Now I'm going to go into the next new product from ABH. This is the ABH Black Liquid Liner. I have been playing with this. I used it in my Colors and Lines collaboration. All right, so this is a black waterproof true black matte felt tip liquid liner. $18, and yeah, I've been using this liner, so I can tell you that it is a great liner. In terms of liners, the NYX Epic Pen Liner is my favorite. So to be impressed by this is also really good. I suck at liners, so bear with me here. Alright, so there we go. The liner is really good. It's very sharp, very precise. And it's not like a bunch of ink all over the place, so that's why I like it. So, now I'm going to finish up my lashes, and then we'll get into the rest of the face. So we're back after applying the lashes. I will say, once my eye has been finished, that the skin looks a little bit better. The foundation looks a little bit better. It still looks luminous. It's laying on my skin slightly better. So, I don't know. This is an interesting foundation. It put me through a lot. Things were moving, things were shifting. Like literally all the foundation on my nose had moved and I had to kind of fix it. But now everything's just looking like regular foundation, so I'm not quite sure how to go about that. So moving into the last product that's like new out of all of these launches, we have the new ABH Loose Highlighters. Now, if you remember, ABH came out with loose highlighters back in the spring, or yeah, spring, so earlier this year or late last year. So originally they came out with 3 loose highlighters, and they have gone back and made 2 more. And from what I've been seeing and hearing, that they have reformulated 2 of them as well. The 2 new shades that we have here are Vegas and Peach Fuzz. So on the website, Vegas is described as a radiant gold, whereas originally the shade So Hollywood was more of like a true yellow gold, and I've actually used Vegas, and Vegas is really nice. It's really blinding. It's almost got, it almost reminds me a lot, you know what it reminds me of the tonez&re-c highlighter. So this is almost like a loose version of tonez&re-c's highlighter in my opinion, because it's more of like a white yellowish gold as opposed to just straight up yellow gold. And then the other shade we have is Peach Fuzz. And Peach Fuzz is a coral gold. Now, because of the packaging and everything, Peach Fuzz looks a lot like Sunset Aura, but Sunset Aura is a rose gold. And Peach Fuzz is more of a coral gold, so it's got a bit of a pinkier shift to it. Or pinkier orange shift to it, if you will. So because of the look I already have, and I use Trust Tissues in the inner corner of the eye, it's fitting that I use Vegas. And one thing I will say about these highlighters is that they seem like they're formulated slightly different than the last ones. The last ones seem more like a powder, and these feel almost creamier, if you will. So, and then applying a little bit of it under the brow as well. Okay, so I'm going to go and finish up the face with blush and a lip, and then we'll be back to give you my final thoughts on everything. So here we are with the final look, and I do like the way that everything looks at the end. I was able to pull things together. Here's where we go. Foundations are not my favorite. I don't thoroughly like these foundations. I don't see myself picking this foundation up a lot. And I'm being completely honest here. People think because I'm on PR that I have to ass kick Norvina and ABH, but that's not the case. If I don't like the product, I don't like the product. I don't like this foundation. The main problem I have with the foundation is that it moved a lot, like a lot. I have been playing with makeup for quite a while. And this foundation just did things that I have never liked in my life. Like, it moved, it never really applied well in my nose area. And like I told you guys, I first applied it using straight up Hydro Grip, a primer which I never had problems with. I use this primer with Radiant Luminous Foundations all the time. I use it with the L'Oreal Fresh Wear Foundation. I use it with Too Faced Born This Way Foundation. I've used it with different foundations that have that luminous appeal to them. Never had any problems with it. This time, I don't know what happened, and then like I told you guys, I took the whole entire face off, started over, applied powder to the areas where I sweat the most. Still moved, like it moved, so like my entire nose shifted by the time I was getting ready to apply bronzer, and it was a lot to deal with. Now I was able to save it with bronzer and powder, but I feel like even still it doesn't look the best. Like, I can see some breakage right up in here. There's a spot on my nose that has no product on it whatsoever. Around the nose area, it doesn't look flattering, and it's emphasizing my pores, and I don't like the way that my skin looks right now, unfortunately. I don't know if it's because of the weather or not, but I just really don't like this foundation. I don't like the way it sits on my skin. It breaks apart, and even before I tried this foundation out, people were saying this foundation breaks apart on the skin. It doesn't sit on the skin well. I don't know. I have normal combination, or I have oily combination skin, and I typically don't have that much issue with a foundation, even with luminous foundations. This is the first, and I really don't like, I don't enjoy how that looked on me, so sorry. Going into the eyes, of course, I told you guys how I felt about Jackie's palette. I feel like this is one of the strongest palettes from ABH in quite a while, if not one of the strongest palettes from ABH, period. Like, I feel like it's definitely top tier. Like, in my opinion, this palette is up there with like Soft Glam and Prism and Modern Renaissance. Like, I really enjoyed this palette a lot. Some people have said that, you know, this palette doesn't necessarily work on certain complexions, and you know, sorry you feel that way, but again, this is a palette that was made for deeper complexion skin. If you don't like this palette, then use Norvina's palette. Simple. I used, like I said, I used more of the pinks and purples that are on this side of the palette. I thought they worked great. The only thing that I wish is that the purples were a bit more intense on the eye, but other than that, I really do like this palette. And not even because it's Jackie, I really do like this palette because it was, like, again, a palette made for deeper complexions. The liner, I don't have any problems with. Super precise, super impact. Like, I feel like it's a deep liner. It's right up there. Like, I feel like this is a strong liner. I feel like it really is a strong liner. I personally like felt tip liners, so I really do enjoy this liner, and I can see myself using it a lot more. As someone who doesn't use a lot of liquid liners, I am impressed with it. The loose highlighters, I feel like, were reformed. If what I've heard is true, that these have been reformulated since the original loose highlighters, and I really do like these. I feel like this goes on the skin a whole lot better. It's less of a glitter and more of a metallic pigment, a foil, if you will. So I thoroughly enjoyed the loose highlighters. The powders were cute. I don't have any problems with it. I feel like it doesn't offer as much coverage as other powders that I have tried in the past. Like, the Wet n Wild loose powder has a lot of coverage to it. The Black Opal loose powder has a lot of coverage to it. This doesn't have as much coverage to it, but it does give a soft matte appeal to it. And I think that's what kind of was the saving grace for the face as a whole, because like I told you, the foundation really... Jackie's palette's at the top. The liner and the loose highlighters next. The loose powder, and then the foundation. I'm sorry, the foundation, I don't see myself picking this foundation up too much more, at least during the summer. I'm gonna give it another try during the winter, but as of now, this is not a favorite of mine, so unfortunately I won't be picking that foundation up too much, but it's the honest truth. Now that I've gotten all that out of the way, there is something that I really do need to discuss here. I'm not sure if you guys are aware, if you're on PR, or if you're subscribed or notified of ABH and Norvina's posts, then you guys are aware of just how much of an issue getting this foundation was. I got this foundation on 13. This foundation came out on the 4th. Now, that's a little over a week. People were going to say that, oh, you're on PR, you should be thankful that you even got it. Yes, I fully understand that, but here's where the issue lies. A lot of people were getting PR for this foundation early in August, some even in July. And I understand that I'm on the East Coast, and unfortunately, on the East Coast, you know, anybody who's on PR on the East Coast is going to get stuff late. Which I feel like that's a whole thing that can be fixed. Like, just send PR out to international, and then East Coast and West Coast, everyone gets it at the same time. That's my opinion. But in terms of the actual launch itself, a lot of people who are of my complexion, darker, slightly lighter, didn't get this foundation until just now. Like, I even know some people who still don't have the foundation and they're on PR. I'm not sure what's going on over in ABH land, but this isn't okay. And this is transcends just the PR, because I went into Ulta and I saw something that was extremely alarming to me. The last 8 shades and then the last 2 deepest powders aren't available in Ulta. And it's not even that they're unavailable, the testers aren't even there either. I've also talked to some people who went to Sephora. Sephora doesn't have those shades either. This is a serious problem to me, because as much as I love Norvina and as much as I love ABH, I am going to talk about these issues in the same way that I would talk about them with any other brand. The same way that I talked about the issues with Lunar Beauty, and I got to work on Lunar Beauty and help make that better. In the same way that I talked to the issues in HipDoc's video, and HipDoc reached out to me and explained things, and we figured some things out. The same thing I'm going to do here. I do not understand why any brand, especially a brand like ABH, who has the money and who has the power, decides to feel as though releasing deeper shades is not a priority. Norvina, sis, I love you, but this is not cute at all. Like, for Norvina to be so gung-ho about reaching out to black artists to be put on PR, and seeing black males in beauty on PR and this, that, and third, and then to have an opportunity to have us represented fail, like, it's what? From what I've been told from other people, and this may be wrong, I'm just giving what I've been told here. The foundations were being formulated or what have you, and then the investor was like, we need to have this foundation out now. And at the time, the deeper shades were not formulated yet. And so, unfortunately, the investors who were the ones paying for everything were like, nah, put the foundation out now, and then you'll release the deeper shades later. I understand that, yes, investors have the money, but at this point, there is no reason why deeper shades in a foundation line should not be launched, especially when you are pushing 50 shades and pushing this idea of inclusivity. I'm sorry, Norvina, but I'm going to get on you the same way I got on Beauty Blender and the same way I got on Tarte and any other foundation launch that was shitty. This foundation launch was shit. I'm sorry, but this was a shitty launch. If I cannot go into a store and find my foundation shade, then why would I tell someone else to do this, buy the foundation? Like, I literally have people coming to me saying that I want to get this foundation, can you please review it? And I flat out told them, I can't review the foundation because I don't even have it yet. And the foundation had already launched for at least a week. I have people who were like, well, I want to try the foundations out, but every time I go into Ulta or Sephora, the shades aren't there. What? That's not okay. I understand that your investors are the ones paying it, but honestly, you might want to find new investors. Because at any point in 2019, when we are pushing this idea of inclusivity and beauty for all and living in a post-Fenty Beauty world where 50 foundation shades are being launched and the deepest shades are the ones that are being catered to, there is absolutely no reason whatsoever why a black person should walk into Sephora or Ulta looking to buy this Luminous foundation and can't buy it because it's not available to them. And it's not available online. There's no reason why a black person should go on YouTube looking to see a review from a black influencer trying out the Luminous foundation and they can't find one. That's not acceptable. Not in the slightest. Like, Again, I love you, Norvina, and I am truly thankful that you picked me to be on your PR list, but I need you to understand, I need your team to understand, I need whoever else is back there making these decisions to understand that if this is the way that the foundation is going to be launched, I don't want complexion products from you anymore. If you don't feel as though deep complexions are a necessity to you and your brand, then keep those products to yourself. If the formulation of the products are not ready, if the deeper shades are not ready, then don't release the foundation at all until every single thing is ready. Right now, ABH is in a boat just like Tarte. This is not, there is no difference between what Tarte did and what ABH is doing now. ABH is more likable in this situation, but this is the exact same situation as Tarte when they launched their foundations. They didn't put out the deeper foundation because they weren't ready yet. We drugged Tarte to hell and back because of this shit. Why are we forgiving ABH for this? This is not okay. It's not okay. And if this gets me kicked off PR, I'm sorry, but I'm always going to speak my mind, and I'm always going to speak the truth that's going out there. Some influencers may feel as though what I'm saying right now may endanger their career, and if that's how you feel, then boo-boo do you. But I have been vocal about these situations since the moment I stepped on YouTube. Since the moment I consider myself an influencer or a content creator, what have you. There is no reason why a multi-million-dollar brand like ABH, who is perhaps the biggest name in beauty right now, should be releasing foundations that black people cannot wear because they don't have the availability to buy them in the stores. I don't like being felt like a second thought to someone. The moment a brand decides that, oh, we're going to release your shades at a later date because we're not ready yet, makes me feel like I'm not important. And I've told you guys time and time again, black people are important to this beauty industry, especially in this day and age. In a day and age where Fenty Beauty was able to release 40 different foundation shades and all the deep complexion shades sold out within the first week, shows anyone who was investing in beauty that black people do buy makeup. This is nothing new. This is nothing brand new to this industry. There's no reason why this should be happening. So again, to Norvina and to ABH and everyone over there, I'm sorry, but this is a horrible foundation launch. Horrible. Horrible. I don't care if you have 50 shades. I don't care if every single person in the world will be able to have a match. If those deeper complexions can't buy the shades because they're not available, then who are you appealing to? It doesn't matter if you have 50 shades. If those deeper complexions can't buy it, then the only people that matter are the lighter ones. So to anyone who feels as though I'm stepping on toes or ruining my reputation with the brand or ruining my reputation as an influencer, I don't care. I don't care. My representation matters. What I do is important. The things that I say are important because there are so many people who have reached out to me who feel the exact same way, or people who I've spoken with and feel the exact same way, but feel like their voice isn't important. They feel like they can't say these things because they're going to get in trouble. Well, guess what, sweetheart? I'm going to say it for you. I'm not afraid to say this. I'm not afraid to tell Norvina and ABH that this was not a good look. I'm not afraid. Because at the end of the day, if I'm afraid to be a representation for myself, then what am I doing here? Why would anyone want to look up to me? This isn't okay. This is not okay. I appreciate your launch with Aina, and I appreciate the big collaboration that you have coming up, which is involved in complexion products, but at the end of the day, this foundation launch was horrible. Alright, you guys, that is the end of my video. Hopefully that beautiful rant at the end didn't steer you away, but if it did, oh well. If you're still here, thank you so much for watching. I truly do appreciate it. If you like this video, then go ahead and give it a huge thumbs up, like, and support. It means so much. Also, if you want to continue seeing my face on your YouTube feed, then go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Hit that notification bell so that you don't miss the next time I upload. Also, make sure you guys follow me on all my social media accounts. That is Neon MUA on Instagram, Twitter, as well as Snapchat. Love to have you guys be part of the Fireflies family. And you guys, that is it. I'm going to relax and calm down for a second. So until next time, take care. Later.